Hey guys, what's up? Thanks so much for stopping by. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. My name is Dana, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a ShopMissA first impressions try-on haul sort of video. Taylor was visiting Houston recently, and we decided to hit up the ShopMissA store. It was actually it was my second time going in, but my first time buying anything. I've heard of ShopMissA through several different content creators, but I feel like the most that I've seen is from Taylor Wynn. I'm sure many of you guys are already familiar with her. If not, I will be sure to link her channel down below. It was really helpful going into store with her just because she's already tried out a majority of the line. So she was able to tell me what products were good, what products weren't really worth it. If you are new to ShopMissA, you've probably heard of like their Wonder Pawpaw sponges before, but when you go on the site, everything is $1 to $1.80, I think is the most expensive, $1.88. So I spent $32.64, but I got a crap ton of stuff. Anything from $1, $1.55, or $1.88. They also have like skincare, brushes, but I just focus on makeup. I'm just now realizing though, I did purchase a dry shampoo. I don't know, I already have dry shampoo in my hair, but I do. Ooh, that's a good spray. I'm not too sure about the scent, but you know what? For the sake of the video. Okay, there definitely is a white residue. Let me feel what the texture is like though. It's pretty soft and powdery. It seems like it melts in pretty easily. It doesn't really have like a grit, so if you're looking for a volumizing dry shampoo, I wouldn't say this was it. My hair isn't really greasy right now though, so I can't say much for the oil absorbing part, but I mean, the size and the price was right. I can update you on that later, but everything else is makeup. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I created everything on my face for under $30 because I didn't have a chance to test out every single thing, but I'm really happy so far with how everything is looking at the moment. So if you would like to see more of these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and let's go ahead and get into the tutorial portion. I decided to go ahead and start off with my eyebrows today just because I'm such a huge fan of the Got2b Spiking Glue Ultra Spiking Gel, something like that. It's the same brow gel that I've been using for almost 2 years now. I love it. I know not everyone is a fan of the whole like lifted laminated brow look. If you're not, that's okay. It's my face, they're my brows. This is how I like them. But I'm pleasantly surprised. I feel like I'm getting the same look. There is a little bit of tackiness to them though, whereas with the Got2b brow gel, once it dries, it stays in place and then you don't have to worry about anything like sticking to it, but this still feels just tacky. So I'll be curious. I actually forgot a face powder, so maybe we won't have to worry about that. But for $1 and how travel friendly it is, I'm impressed. We'll see how it holds up. This is the Blurfection Face Primer, minimizes pores, a velvety finish, transparent. I know that there was a nude option of this, and I wanna say a matte version as well. It kind of looks like it's gonna be something similar to the e.l.f. Putty Primer. I do like that it's just this small little eyeshadow looking compact. We shall see. Oh, it's actually pretty slippery. Sometimes with formulas like this, you get more of that thicker putty texture, but this almost had a slight greasy finish, but as you press it in, it does dry down pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna concentrate this right here on the sides of my nose where I have larger pores. Ew, I'm kind of starting to feel little crystallized beads in there. But since it has that really nice wet texture, it's really easy to spread out. But typically with anything that's pore blurring, I like to pat it in rather than just like smearing it. Let's go there, and then just right here between my brows. Can you guys see that though? There's these little beads in there that have solidified. Feels kind of gross. So this is just the Jelly Jam Lip Mask. Here's what it looks like in the pot. This is something that Taylor said she loved. Already in the pot, it looks like it would be something similar to the Laneige Lip Mask. It definitely has a stronger scent than the Laneige one. Ooh, but the texture is very similar where it just melts down immediately with contact, and the texture on the lips is also very similar. I'm excited about that one. Now let's go on to foundation. I have 3 different options. Well, 2 different options, but 3 different shades. This is the one that Taylor said she thought was the best for the foundations. It's the AOA A+ Buildable Satin Foundation. I like that it comes with this little dropper. And then I also grabbed 2 of the VitaGlow Tinted Moisturizers. Here's the Satin Foundation in Pure Beige, and then we have both of the VitaGlow Tinted Moisturizers, Medium and Tan. Just gonna squeeze little drop right there. The texture of this feels nice. And then I also did grab one of their sponges. I have tried one of these before. I think maybe it came like in a Allure beauty box, or maybe just like PR and something. This is their Pawpaw Wonder Blender. It's $1.55. There's like a silicone version. There's traditional shaped sponge. This has the teardrop shape and then the flat slanted edge on one side, which is really nice to get right under the eye. Oh, wow, this has way more coverage than what I thought, and that does look nice. The description of the A+ Satin Foundation says that it's a lightweight liquid formula that delivers buildable coverage and a long-lasting natural finish. Next up, we have concealer. I'm kind of nervous for this part. A lot of liquid concealers that come in a tube packaging like this, I find to be very drying on the under eyes or just like a little bit too thick. This is just their natural finish, medium to full coverage, good for all skin types, non-drying, creamy, and long-wearing. Okay, actually, you know what? This feels pretty nice. It kind of feels like the same consistency of something that would come in a doe foot applicator, not quite as thick and heavy as something that comes in a tube. So I'm just going to, oh yeah, this is a good color. Tap it in with my finger first. I just spent a lot of money on an Hourglass concealer, which I have been loving, but that was $30-something, I think, and this was $1.55. And it's blending in so nicely. I have like the creasiest under eyes, and it's that perfect texture where it's not too wet, but it's not too thick and creamy to where it just like wants to sit and hang out in my fine lines. So here's the before and then the after. Oh, we didn't use the Vita Glow tinted moisturizers, but I'm really happy with my foundation right now, so I don't really want to mess with it. Maybe I'll save that for Instagram Reels or something. I've actually really been loving the Hourglass one, but now I'm just annoyed because I feel like this is giving me the same sort of finish and it was so much cheaper. Let's go in with some bronzer. This is actually their top secret concealer in the shade Cappuccino. I did grab a powder blush though in the shade Fino, which I mean, looks like it would be something that would work as a bronzer as well. Taylor did mention that their AOA brushes were really nice. They felt beautiful, but I have so many brushes. I probably should have got some just to test for the video, but I just decluttered so many brushes and I didn't want to just bring more into the house, so I skipped on the brushes. This is going good too. I love when everything just works out. I feel like the tone is right. I can tell though, I would not have liked this as an under eye concealer. It just has that thicker clay-like feeling. It feels like it dries down pretty quickly too. But for a bronzer, it is working in my favor just because it dries down so you don't have to worry about it like slipping all over the place. I prefer this more than the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I have mentioned I love the cream bronzer that came in the face palette, but when it comes to just the actual bronzer in the packaging like this, I just didn't love it as much. But this formula is actually really nice. It's stiff in the pot, but once it's warmed up, it does pick up on the brush really easily. I do have another liquid cheek product. These are the Color Flush liquid blushes, the shade Redwood and Walnut. I actually love Redwood, but for today's look, I think I'm gonna be going for Walnut. When you first pull it out of the doe foot applicator, it does feel very, very wet, but it looks like it's gonna be something that spreads out pretty easily. Even after it sat on my skin for a minute, it still allowed me to blend it. Sometimes with liquid blushes, if you don't immediately go in and blend them out, you're just left with the exact dots that you place. But this, you have a nice window to really go in and buff everything. I kind of just want to skip on the powders just because I love how everything is layering on top of this foundation. I did though grab these long lasting glow liquid highlighters in Glow Baby. I have Morning Glow and Afterglow. Taylor had mentioned that one of these is a dupe for, did she say the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter? Maybe not exact dupe, but that it looks very similar on the skin. So on this side, we have Morning Glow. And then this one is Afterglow. I wish that this had the same sort of opening as the Vita Glow Tinted Moisturizer, just because I think it would be much easier to control. Oh, that's so pretty. I've had such great luck with all the complexion products. If everything in the eye category works well too, I'm gonna kick myself for taking so long to try this. I love it. I know I applied that and I feel like that's plenty of highlighter, but Taylor raves about, I feel like this whole video is about AOA and Taylor. I've said her name a million times. She raved about this velour highlighter in the shade Sometimes. Oh, it's way moussier than what I thought. I'm just gonna do the tiniest bit. That actually blends in very similar to the liquid one that we just applied, just because the consistency of it is so thin. Both are really pretty. For my skin tone though, I do think I prefer Afterglow a little bit more, but wow, the texture of this is so nice. As much as I love the Colourpop Super Shock shadow line, I've never really been crazy about their Super Shock highlighters or their blushes, but this texture is really, really nice. It definitely has like a wetter, even bouncier consistency than the Super Shock cheek highlighters. I'm gonna use this as an eyeshadow. I don't have a good shade for my crease, so that way we can still somehow incorporate this into the video. Go ahead and start off with the eyeshadow primer. I grabbed mine in the shade 41 Nude. Lately, I've just been using like a concealer as an eyeshadow primer, so I'm not too judgy when it comes to shadow primers. This is one of their Orbit eyeshadow quads, and this particular one is in the shade Mars. Starting off with this beige shade, I'm just gonna use that all over. I'm gonna use the Perfect Blush in the shade Pheno. This one I have to say does kind of have just that like cheapy makeup smell, like the makeup you may have played with when you were a kid. Okay, this is pretty, but it is kind of sheer and dusty. I don't know if I would have really loved this as a blush. If you like something really light and buildable for a blush, I think you'd be okay with this, but I don't know, just the smell. Maybe that's just me being snobby. I'm just not crazy about the scent of that product at all. We're gonna go into this color right here, and then just a little bit more right here on the outer corner. It's picking up nicely on the brush, has good pigmentation, no complaints. I'm super curious about this metallic buttercream shadow. I haven't used one of the Stila, what were they even called? Glitter and Glow shadows in years. When those first came out, I don't think I put them down for over a year. But this reminds me a lot of, it was either Kitten or Bronzed Belle. It's that same sort of rose gold, champagne, silvery color scheme. That is so pretty. Oh my gosh. And since it does have that stiffer texture, it's not overly whipped and creamy to where it seems like it's gonna set down pretty nicely. Whenever I touch my eye, it already feels like it's drying down. I'm just gonna do a quick swatch of this pigment. I don't think, oh no, maybe I will be. Look at this. It has this really pretty duochrome finish. Let's just tap this tiny bit right here in the center. I don't know how much you'll really be able to see it. So you could create this whole eye look for $5. That lip mask is really moisturizing. Okay, for lips, 2 of these lip crayons. This is Bridal Party, and then this is Anniversary. Let's just go in with Bridal Party. We may just mix both shades because why not? It does feel really nice and moisturizing on the lips. There is that play makeup smell to this, that like Play-Doh, just ugh, I don't like the smell at all. And they're not retractable. It is something that you have to sharpen. I'm just going in with some Anniversary on top. I mean, the pigmentation and the formula feels nice. I just really don't like the smell of the product. Here is the final look. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Just to do a quick rundown of the products that have already captured my little heart. The foundation, as of right now, upon first impressions, the formula, the finish, the coverage, all A+ to me. There is a matte version, excuse me, matte version of this formula as well. There may have even been a third version of this dropper formula, and then there were several other foundations that came in a tube. But for $1, I think this one was $1.55, $1.88. I mean, no complaints so far. The concealer. I never went in with any concealer on my under eyes. Whenever it did start to gather, I just lightly went in and patted it. I have the creasiest, driest under eyes ever. I did not go in with any high expectations for this concealer. In fact, I was a bit of a negative Nancy. I thought it was gonna be way too thick, dry, and creamy on my under eyes, but it was the exact opposite. Just the fluid texture of it was just right, where it wasn't too liquidy to where it like dried down instantly, and it wasn't too creamy and thick where I really had to warm it up. It was just that just right Goldilocks happy medium formula. Seriously, so impressed with this. Like I said, I can't say much for the longevity yet, but just like the application and the overall formula and the way that it blended in, A+. So those 2 products were definitely the star of the show for me, but then we had lots of other winners. For instance, the metallic buttercream in Love Story, I will definitely be going back to get more. I love the way that this applied. It was so nice that I didn't have to go in with any sort of tacky base. Just like the finish of it, honestly, if you loved the Stila Glitter and Glow, I want to say it was Bronze Belle, you will love this one. You don't have like the thick chunks of glitter, but you still have that high shine, metallic, bronzed, coppery, rose gold color. And then I also loved this concealer as a cream contour. The actual texture of it was just right to where I feel like it probably will wear a long time. I definitely will update you on that. But this concealer does have a slight, not like straight up blurring finish like the primer, but since it does have that thicker sort of texture, whenever you go in and really sheer it out with a brush, I feel like it kind of gave my cheeks a smoother look too. And then the Glow Baby liquid highlighters, stunning. This one is really nice too, the velour highlighter, but I just think I prefer this one more, like I said, because of the actual shade. I do want to go back to the store and get a velour highlighter in a shade with just a little bit more warmth to it, just because this pulled a little bit, like just slightly more silver on my face than what I like, but both formulas of these were beautiful. Products that are just like kind of passes for me, the Special Day lip crayons. It's not that they're bad, but I really don't like this scent. It's not like lingering, but I don't know. I just have other glosses that I feel like are fine, but if you are on a budget and you like the crayon format, this is nice. Also, this blush. These three products just smell cheapy, makeup, Play-Doh, powdery sort of scent. That's it for this one. As always, thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't already, I would love if you subscribed. If you guys have any specific video requests or any other like AOA top recommendations, definitely leave those down below in the comments for me, because I will most definitely be hitting up the store again. And yeah, that's it for this one. So I will see you next time. Bye.